Hi, everyone. We are Don't Mess with the Mommas. Mommas. With our motto, you are the protagonist of your life, not the victim of your destiny. Take it away, Carla.
Okay, so today we will be talking about from hell to enlightenment and everything in between. And this is a Buddhist concept. We are going to go through the whole 10 worlds because there's 10 worlds that we float in and out of on a daily basis.
For sure.
All right. The 10 worlds are hell, hunger, animality, anger, humanity, rapture or heaven, what is learning, what is absorption, the aspiration for enlightenment, what is enlightenment, and the mutual possession of the 10 worlds, because each one of these worlds is all within the other 10. So Buddhahood is in the world of hell. Buddhahood is in each one of these worlds. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, Arlaana.
Okay.
You want to talk about hell?
Sure. Hell, I think we've all been there. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to visit anywhere to experience that. Hell is when you feel extreme suffering, rage, a lack of freedom. And even though we may not be in a physical prison, we may put ourselves in a prison where we feel like there is no escape. But the interesting thing about hell, and many people who, think that this is going to be my life forever and ever and ever, and they even do something as tragic as end their life because they don't see that they can get out of that condition. Mm-hmm. In that condition, in the worst possible condition, that's where you can really wake up to something really fundamental about life itself, And as you just said, Buddhahood is in the condition of hell. Mm-hmm. So I know when I was the most depressed is when I had the greatest realization. I was really depressed, so of course through our practice we chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, and I was able to really see, okay, this is what I need to change. This is the possibility. Beyond that wall, you think you've hit a wall, but beyond that wall is a great ocean of possibilities. So to always have that sense of hope that even in the worst condition, that's when you can wake up to the greatest understanding. What about you? What do you think?
Well, I remember one particular time I was definitely in the state of hell. And I was chanting, and I had to chant to the point where that hell changed. It transformed from being something very dark. I could see a glimmer of light, which gave me hope. And I was able to come out of that state and move my life forward to the point that I'm here today. So I've been through many different states of hell and come out of all of them. It's not a place that you go to and you stay there.
Right.
It's not that the hell and damnation and brimstone, it's not about that. It's your life, your everyday life, things that go on in it. So,
and everybody goes through that. There's not one human being alive that doesn't experience that. All life, even animals, and of course Zoe is busy licking Carla's feet down below. You can't see her, but even her, if she doesn't have,
feel her.
And if she doesn't have food, that's her hell, right? Then when she gets fed, that's her heaven.
Yes.
She's in rapture. She's thrilled.
Yes,
so we bounce back and forth. Okay, what's the next one that we talk about?
The next one is hunger. And hunger is, it could be manifest as greed, never getting enough, always wanting more, and there's cravings, like gamblers, like drug addicted people, no ethics, hunger, happiness, all these different things can be related to hunger.
And it's not just, sometimes we think of food when we think of hunger, but that nature to really, as Carla was just saying, to want more and more and more. And I know the reason I started this practice, this Buddhist practice, is when I heard you attain enlightenment through your desires. The more desires, the better. I said, okay, because I have a really strong hunger nature. But hunger could be really great because it could be a hunger for wanting to improve your life, a hunger for wanting to encourage other human beings. So that could really spur you on in such a positive way where you gain control of your hunger rather than your hunger control you. And something I was pondering about, and I don't know how relevant this is, but you know, that we all seek, as human beings, we all seek reward. And if people don't have very much material fortune, that they tend to eat food that isn't good for them, but it satisfies that hunger in their lives. People with a lot of money want more and more for no reason whatsoever, but just to, as you said, greed, to have more and more. But it doesn't get anybody happier when the more you have, the more you want, but it doesn't provide that inner happiness and inner transformation.
Yes, it's something that you just, it doesn't matter how much you spend, how much you buy, it's not going to fill up that hole that's in your life.
Right.
So,
Okay.
going on to the next topic is animality.
Animality is foolishness, acting on impulse and instinct without reason. And Carla and I were trying to think of something positive about animality, but I don't know if there really is. But maybe that instinct, it's an instinct to want to do better as in your life. But negatively, it really can trample on all sorts of animals or people, just trample on people, which is anything you want to say about that?
Well, the thing about animality is that you don't think about the cause that you're making when you become animalistic or vicious.
Right.
You don't think about how this is going to affect you in the future, because everything is cause and effect. If you're miserable to somebody and lash out at them because you're in a state of hell or anger, that's going to come back to you.
Right.
When you're not expecting it, when you least need it to happen to you, that will come back to you.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Nothing to be gained by living in the world of animality.
No.
And it causes tremendous, tremendous suffering
No.
for yourself and others. So the next one is anger. And I like this one because I think most of us experience anger. I know that as a kid, I was such an angry child for many different reasons. And anger is very ego-based, and the need to be superior, comparing yourselves, arrogance, hypocrisy, dishonesty. So the world of anger is really negative because it causes you not to be human, really, to give up all your human characteristics and want to lord it over everybody else. Yet it's really great when, our original Buddhist monk Nichiren Daishonin, who first chanted Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, we could say he's the angriest man in all Japan because the government was like telling people they needed to practice this religion and not provide them any hope or happiness in this lifetime. So to be really angry, to want to see tremendous change can really spur a person on. But if it controls you, you're consumed by it and you become a really disgusting human being,
Righteous anger, wanting to see things better for other people. That's righteous anger. Against injustice, that's another way of having righteous anger. And I guess that's about the size of it.
No, I love it. Yeah, I love what you said. Righteous anger.
Yeah,
yes, we should wear T-shirts with righteous. I am a righteous angry person. What's the next one?
The next one is humanity. Now, this is a state of calm, composed. You're reasonable. You're tranquil. You're rational. But you can get swayed also because by your environment. Anything can push you out of the world of humanity into the world of an animal. A good point is driving. when you're driving, if somebody cuts you off in the middle of traffic, you know, you were driving along, right? Nice, and you listen to the music, but then Mr. Crazy Person jumps in front of you or stops short, immediately you become, you know, that other person.
I always think of being like on the beach, you know, and chilling out, right? And you're really loving being on the beach, and then you fall asleep and you get this horrible sunburn and you don't realize. So that immediately that feeling of humanity is like, oh my gosh, it immediately changes. You're in pain and agony.
Or better yet, somebody kicks sand on you.
Yeah,
okay?
of course.
Okay?
Or the ocean comes up to you.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're wet.
Rapture. Rapture is kind of a raptures we love. Everybody loves rapture. We're experiencing intense joy, but it fades with time. It's sort of like, that's why there's an expression, the honeymoon phase. When you get married or a new job, whatever it is, you're thrilled, you're so excited about things, but that fades with time. How do you sustain that? There's no foundation. You want to speak about that?
Well, you know, you have to be careful when you're in the world of heaven and rapture, because that can turn on a dime and you'll be all the way in the depths of hell. You get a brand new car, you drive it off the lot, you're happy, and then Mr. So-and-so comes and bangs it. You know, you got a dent. Now you have collision problems. You have insurance problems. You are then in the state of hell. So you have to watch yourself when you're in the world of rapture and heaven, you know, because it doesn't last long.
I guess you have a lot of driving experience and driving
recently. Okay.
And all of these states, these are called the six paths, and they're states that are easily influenced by external circumstances. You don't have to really make any kind of effort. They just are there all the time. Okay, but now we're going to the Four Noble Worlds, where you really need deliberate effort to experience self-improvement. And they are learning is the first one, where we all know what that means, seeking self-improvement, learning from others.
Yes, that's true. And their experiences, so that you can maybe do something different than what you've been doing. And then there's realization. So that's partial awakening, but easy to become selfish and self-centered. I think when we learn something, maybe we think we know it all, and we don't. And then, you know, it cuts us off from being with other people. You know.
And I think absorption or the realization is somebody who's very creative and gets into really a creative mode. But that doesn't mean that they're extending their life to others. They may just, as you explained, may be very self-involved and selfish and just into their own thing and thinking, wow, I'm just so superior to everybody else.
Yes.
I have such talent. And yes, it's wonderful to have talent, but for what purpose? Talent to encourage your life and encourage others, right? That's where the real joy comes from. So that can be, absorption can be dangerous as well.
Yeah.
So, but now we're on to
Bodhisattva.
Yay.
So what is a bodhisattva? A bodhisattva is a person who has compassion, is altruistic, believes in relieving the suffering of others. You know, they're looking for their enlightenment, but they're also helping other people to gain theirs. And this is really based on happiness.
right.
You can't be happy if you alone are happy. You can't be happy if everybody around you is suffering.
Right.
You know, so that's why Bodhisattva reaches out to others and offers them what they have. You know, and for us, it's really sharing Nam Myoho Renge Kyo with other people. And it takes time to come to the realization that this is powerful and it will help your life. But once you come to that realization, you are extremely happy. And then you know what your mission in life is to share.
And if you look at people's, we call that Nyose So, their appearance, somebody who's lived a very self-centered, deceitful life, there's no joy in their life whatsoever. You look at their face and they look angry, they look like death sometimes, But people who have really been altruistic in their life, you know, in whatever way they're altruistic, they experience so much joy, and they're gotten away from themselves. You know, they, what we call open up the lens of your life, to really open up your life and allow so many more people to come into your life. And when you're really suffering, a lot of times people, you know, are suffering the most because they're so much thinking about their own problems. But when you get away from your own problems and start thinking about others, that's when your life can open up and you become happier in so many different ways.
Yeah. That whole thing about offering people, you know, happiness, or opening yourself to others, that is the cause for your own happiness.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It always, that's the way. And in the beginning, you may not think that. You may not think that. I just want to be happy myself. I don't want to worry. I don't want to worry about anybody else's problems but my own. That I'm the one who's suffering right now. I can't worry about.
Sure.
But if you get past that, once you get past that, then you want to help somebody else.
Right.
Because you don't want to see them suffering.
Yes, yeah. And that's the greatest joy, when you see another human being overcome suffering. That is true joy, because we're all interconnected. We're all family of human beings, humanity. And then finally, drum roll, Buddhahood, absolute happiness, wisdom, compassion, unshakable joy, and freedom. You know, when Nichiren Daishonin was in the worst possible situation, when he was, you know, cast off and thrown to a place called Sado Island, where they just basically threw all the bones of the dead people, and he had no house or anything. He said, "I'm the happiest man in all Japan." How's that possible? Because he wasn't dependent on his environment. Navalny too, in Russia, you know, the Russian dissident, even though he was in the worst possible prisons in the Arctic Circle, he was so happy. He felt like he was among the 1% of the happiest people in the world, because he was living his mission, you know. So you don't need the perfect circumstances. You know, you can really be totally free, realizing that your circumstances do not make you happy. You create your happiness.
That's true.
You influence your circumstances. Now, nobody, of course, wants to be in that situation, but to realize that true freedom comes from inside, not from what happens outside. And the cool thing about all this is that everything is the mutual possession of the 10 worlds. We're all interconnected. So as you said from the beginning, even when you're in hell, Buddhahood is there, enlightenment, the happiest condition of all in the worst possible condition.
That's right.
They're all interconnected. And we bounce through these throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, and that's very healthy.
Tina Turner's book, I can't remember the title, but
Happiness Becomes You.
Happiness Becomes You. She went through the whole 10 worlds in one morning. You know, how she got up, being in the world of hunger, wanting to eat something, you know, okay, being in the world of humanity, driving down the street, being in the world of anger, somebody with the traffic again, you know, and she just went through the whole, and you could really, you recognize this. It's not something separate from your life. You've been through every one of these worlds, every one of them. So it's not something foreign to you.
Yep. I love it. I love it. I think we've really talked a lot about this one, right? There's a lot to talk about on this one. So don't forget, we are Don't Mess with the Mommas, MOMMAS. And to conclude, we always conclude with encouraging words. So this is again from Daisaku Ikeda. A society that has sacrificed so much to material wealth that it has forgotten the human heart and the better human aspirations degenerates into something compassionless, doctrinaire, ignorant, and ultra-conservative. When this happens, fundamental solutions to calamities become impossible. If we protect the truth and are resolute, we are capable of creating peace and prosperity. And the truth we must protect ought to be high and great. One great truth, the thing that must protect to the utmost, involves ethics and the best of human nature. But more basic than that is to guard the truth of life, that we and the universe are one, and that a single ordinary human thought contains the entirety of universal life. So reach out to us at mommas, MOMMAS.podcast @gmail.com, and don't forget our motto, You are the protagonist of your life, not the victim of your destiny. Bye. 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 Bye.